How you doing, Brian King, UK Flooring TV. We're over in Wolverhampton at MN Floor Training Limited. Paddy's let us use one of his bays, do a few demos. I'm going to have a catch up with Paddy later. Were we Dan? Dan Jones, how you doing?
Yeah, fine. Happy New Year.
Yep. Dan, after all the videos I've seen on Kool glides, I thought I'm just going to get one.
Yeah.
Mainly for repairs. I've used one doing a join and weren't keen on it because, like I've said in the past, you can't see the join going in because it sits on top.
Yeah.
So I know you use a silver seamer.
Yeah.
I'd sooner use the traditional method of a heat seaming iron. But I do quite a lot of repairs, so I've solely bought it for repairs.
Yeah.
I think it's a good piece of kit for doing repairs on carpet.
It is a good piece of kit. It's like, there's nothing wrong with all the other seaming ways. It's good to have a bit of everything, but this is in a class of its own when you start to do a repair from the top like this.
Well, what I usually do is cut a square, to be honest. I've never had a cookie cutter, so I've cut a square, transfer it from a new piece under a sofa or a cabinet, and then use heat seaming tape, heat it up and try and get the tape in the square without burning yourself. You've got to do it quick so that the glue doesn't
And you're pushing a bigger piece of tape through a smaller hole. And it wants to fold up and burn your knuckles and things, doesn't it?
I think every time I do a repair that way, I do catch myself and burn my hand at some point.
And you see, I've seen some people do them with their hot melt gun as well. They put scrim under and they've put glue on it. It's going to stick to your underlay, but again, you're doing a repair, aren't you? As long as from the top it looks good and you've kept the carpet alive, that's what you're aiming for. I mean, we've put a couple of marks. That's the sort of thing you come to in a job, isn't it? Something like that, a couple of marks on the floor.
Yeah, I've seen one guy on YouTube from America. He puts heat seaming tape underneath the carpet, puts a towel on and puts an iron on. Which that can't be done. It's going to damage the backing of the carpet.
Yeah, I can't understand how that works. I mean, whatever, the glue that's between the interbacking and the secondary backing, it's water sensitive, isn't it? You get it wet, and I can't see how that works. I mean, obviously it works for him, so he can carry on doing it. We'll use that.
Stick with that.
Yeah.
What comes in the kit, Dan? What have we got with it?
Well, we've just unwrapped it, haven't we? They use a different sealing system. They use a hot melt system to seal the edges. It's got an ultraviolet tracer in it, and it also comes with ultraviolet lights, so you can shine that on your edge and you can see that you've put the glue on.
So basically it tells you if you've missed any and things like that.
I tend to use an old-fashioned thing called my eyes. But so you get that way of sealing it. I tend to prefer a wet seal myself. I know the heat runs quick, but I feel that it doesn't soak into the edge. You're just coating it. And I understand that then when you put it on the tape remelts it and seals the edge, but still I prefer a wet sealer that you've rubbed in, basically.
So is that how that works? You seal the edge and then when you seam it, it remelts it?
Well, I don't know exactly, but I imagine it's a low melt adhesive. You seal the edge. When you heat the same adhesive up that's on the tape, they all melt each other together. So that's the system they've got for, and it's got a nice little nozzle on the end there that you can lip under the edge of your carpet. So they seal it with that, and that's your normal glue sticks. It comes with a tape guide there, so you put that through with your tape in, and it will keep the tape in the middle of your join.
So your tape doesn't wander?
Yeah. It's still, I imagine you'd use this with the iron behind it. If you tried to do the whole run, I just said that when you pushed on it, the tape would move. So that should run in front of your Kool glide if you're doing a straight seam. It also comes with the same thing on the end of it, but a Teflon mat. This stops the heat coming through to your underlay and burning your underlay. It also stops cold of your floor or the underlay, taking the heat away from the tape as well.
So same as a seaming board, I use a piece of LVT or a bit of ply.
And it gives you something firm to roll on as well. So you see people use that and not use it. My silver seam comes with the same sort of thing to guide the tape. I've never really used it.
Do you not use it, no?
But I tend to push my staple hammer through the carpet and just through the tape, and as soon as I start to do the seam I flick them out,
Right.
You couldn't do that with this because it would heat the staples up red hot and burn a hole. But,
Yeah, because it acts as like a microwave, doesn't it?
Yeah,
The same sense.
it sends its microwave magic through the carpet, which heats up the foil in the back of the tape, which in turn melts the glue. And they advertise it, it's actually heating the tape from below. You're not heating through the carpet, you're heating the tape onto the carpet.
Right.
And they do a few different tapes. I've noticed this general purpose one, which will utility tape, which has got pressure sensitive on that side and their adhesive on that side. You could think of your own uses. They say that you can put your first row of engineered down with it. You can use it on stairs because you can stick it to the step, and when you bring your open stairs round, you can join them together. Again, I don't really do things like that, but we'll have a play with that, sticking something to the floor after, because I'm interested. And then they do a couple of tapes. I know they do a standard tape and a silicone back tape.
What's the difference in those?
I imagine the silicone back, they're saying, doesn't stick to what's below it.
Right.
I'd be lying if I said I know what it's for, but I do know they do two different sorts. And I imagine if you've got some sort of a low melting point underlay and you've frazzled the top of it, the silicone one would still pull off it for when you wanted to stretch it. But again, I'll be lying if I said I know, and probably in the comments below this someone will tell us, so we'll learn something, won't we?
Yeah. Well, it's just trial and error for us, I mean.
Yeah.
I've used one a couple of times, you've used one a couple of times.
Yeah. And if you read the instructions to these things, they're a general instruction. They're really, you can do what you can do with it. You can do the more you can think of to do with it, you can do. I saw someone the other day had done some stairs and they'd upholstered the sides and they cool glided the whole side of the open block of stairs in, and again that's something you couldn't normally do unless you'd F3'd all up the wall. So, but we'll have a play with it now. I've had a couple of goes with them before, but this is the first time. It's not been a big rush.
The only other thing I had to get separate was the transformer.
Yeah,
I think the whole kit cost me about 600 quid in total.
Yeah, these are produced with, they just take American power, don't they?
Yeah, Mario from Trade Discount Store, he stocks the transformers. I think it was about 100 quid.
And he got that to you quite fast, didn't he?
Literally a day or two after.
Yeah.
The Kool Glide, it took in about 10 weeks.
So you had that from America and you bought this from the UK, haven't you?
Yeah.
So you do need that, but again, it's not too bad. It's not like your big yellow box. It doesn't weigh a ton, does it?
No, it's quite small.
Okie doke. So should we have a play with it and see what we can?
Yeah, you've already damaged this carpet down, so we'll do a repair on it.
So basically, this is the cookie cutter we've showed before.
We showed the wolf one.
The wolf one, yeah.
Is that which one's that? Is it the crane?
This is.
It's quite an old one.
I'm pretty sure this is a Jansa one, and I've had it about 25 years. So yeah, I don't really know.
Well, we've put a new blade in. We'll not use the 25-year.
No, didn't even have a blade. That's probably why I never used it. But basically, what you're cutting there is the radius. So whatever the distance between that is, the diameter's double. So you'd set that so that it would miss everything. If I was doing this from the back, which if I do a repair, I would like to try and do it from the back. If I was doing it from the back, I would stick an awl through the middle of the carpet through to the back, and then I could see where the middle of the damage was from the back.
See, that's another thing. Like I say, I do quite a few repairs, but they're never at the edge of the room. Out of 10 repairs I do, they're always like in the middle where you can't fold it back
in front of the settee, or
9 times out of 10 I always have to surface cut.
Yeah. Well, we had a discussion with that, didn't we? I wanted to go from the back, but obviously you do have to do them from the front, so we're going to go from the front, and this is basically the worst job.
Yeah, the hardest repair you're going to do is from the top.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But we'll give this a go.
Right, would you mark that now for the pile direction?
Yeah. Well, I don't need to mark that one, but basically, we've got the pile direction going that way. And if you're going to cut something out of somewhere else, you might want to mark the way the pile direction's going. I mean, we know it's going that way because this is a big piece.
Just do it at the side of it, Dan.
What's that?
We'll just cut it out at the side of it.
Right next to it,
Yeah.
So if you take that out the same way as it is, you've got your pile going in that direction and your pile going in that direction. So we'll get some tape. We'll actually use as long as the Kool glide. And it's also not wide enough, so just trim the excess off the side of that.
Go easy, Dan, it's not cheap, that's it.
I'll give you a fiver in a minute. You was going to sell me the metal edges the other day on your job, wasn't you? I cut too wrong, he was going to charge me. So basically we'll get our tape in.
Could you overlap those, or would you have to put them side by side?
I will go, it's quite thin stuff, I will overlap this a millimetre. Again, people have probably got other ideas, but just to be sure. So basically, we've got the tape on there. So best practice is to seal all edges. So
would you normally seal both?
I would normally seal both, but I'm going in wet on this, so while we've got a wet edge, I'll just press this in. When you're putting a circle in the middle, if you give it a couple of creases, you tend to find that it'll just go in. Really the back edge you want to hook under because the pile's leaning.
I've noticed there's 3 settings on it as well, Dan. There's a L, M, H, low, medium, high. What are those 3 settings for?
It's got low, medium, high. They're basically a timer. It's the same power all the time. It's just the length of time it's working for. So, for example, your low's 10 seconds, your medium might be 15, and your high might be 20. So it's on for longer. The tape gets hotter.
So would you use that on you'd use the higher one on a thicker carpet?
Yeah, maybe a thicker carpet, or you might find that you're on a subfloor that's cold and it's taking the heat away faster. But basically, once you get used to using it, if you come in on the lowest setting and then give it a try and see, pull it up, have a look how your glue's melted, you shouldn't have any problems. Well, by all accounts, the low setting, a lot of the lads are saying is hot anyway. So someone said last night that it was scorching the tape a bit. I've used it a few times and it does tend to scorch the side of the tape. I think it's where there's no glue on it, but it's nothing serious. I'd just ignore it unless you've burnt the carpet or the underlay with it. I don't think it's a problem.
Well, that joint looks alright from up here. I can't see it.
Looks good from your house, doesn't it? Yeah. So I've just got a smooth roller here. It's just something we picked up from Paddy's because mine was too buried in the van. It's an LVT roller, but this is what you'll see most people use. We don't use that on a hot joint because you can reset the pile. Sometimes you might want to use it if you're putting a new piece into an old piece. You can use this as a pile masher, and you can tend to make the new bit look a bit older by bursting the pile by rollering it a lot. But when you do that when it's hot, you will struggle, or you may never get this grid effect that the spikes cause you.
Well, actually seam it in there.
Yeah. So when you use this on a normal join, you'd mark it and move it along, you mark it and move it along so you know what you're doing. Like Brian says, you might not be able to see your join, but if you just run a row up the side of your tape, you do know where your join is because it's going to be there. So we'll go on this half of the tape. Now I do know this machine, it senses the tape underneath, so it won't come on unless it's on top of the tape.
So you've pressed it on the low setting.
I'm on the low setting there, yeah.
And does a light come up and then when the light comes?
Yeah, the green light comes on to say power, and that's done it. And then again,
looks pretty spot on from here.
yeah, and there wasn't much effort involved in that, was there?
No, not at all.
It's actually like it's not working, it works that quick.
And as it took home?
Yeah, I'm going to put, well, you can feel now, if you put your hand on that, you can feel the warmth coming through the carpet.
Yeah.
So the bits that tend to show when you put a patch in is always the back or the front edge, isn't it? 'Cause
Yeah.
You may have cut through a little bit of the pile.
Also, there's you can unseam joins, can't you?
Yeah, well, before I unseam this, we'll have a look underneath. Be a big crater. So there's an example of your scorching.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be worried about that. I mean, I've heated the tape to there. I could have put the tape on better than that, but you can't feel the ridge between the tapes either. It's a very thin tape, which also will help. You can see it scorched the underlay. That's where this comes in, really.
Yeah, but we're doing a repair. You can't.
No. I mean, that's not a problem, is it?
No.
So yeah, like Brian said, you can undo it as fast as you did it.
So if you do a join and there's something wrong, it's overlapped or something, you can...
Right, we can see that this is fixed now. That's not coming up.
See how easy it is to take
So if
it
you
up?
have a problem with it, yeah. Probably if you're removing the join, you might put it on the
higher
hotter setting, yeah.
But have you put it on the low setting
I've just
again?
on low, yeah. You can always go hotter, can't you? But you can't fix a burnt hole.
That's the one.
So basically, magic rays of just instantly beats it up.
Just as easy as that.
And if you look
as
at the glue transfer you're getting off that, yeah.
And then you can reseam that again.
Yeah. I wouldn't have said you could use the tape. You may be able to use the same piece again because it's got the remains of the old glue on.
But
it needs new tape, I'd say, yeah. But that's marvellous.
I'm impressed with it. Like I said, I wouldn't use it for joins.
Can we have a go with
just a personal preference.
Can we have a go with this one then, Brian?
Yeah. Right, Dan, we've got what's this? The other tape we've got with it.
Well, in your goodie box, we come with this other tape that says utility tape. What this is, there's no scrim in this. There's no. It doesn't take pull for stretch. This is basically for bonding things. It comes pressure sensitive adhesive on the back of the tape. So you put that to the floor or to the wall, whatever you use it.
What would you use this tape for? What?
Now I have read some on it, and they're saying that it's a utility tape. Basically, you can use it for anything you think of, but examples they've given is if you're fitting the first row of engineered wood and you want an adhesive bond that sets straight away, you can put your first row in with this, and then you can go with your wet glue up to it.
Oh, so you've got a structure.
So you've got a structure to lay the rest of your floor off.
Work off that.
Yeah, and basically if you was doing things that was on the wall or, again, utility. So this is the piece of wood we've got. I'll put that on top.
What setting would you use that on?
I'm going to come straight in on a medium because it's a denser thing, this wood. So again, I don't know, but we will. we will see. We'll just go straight in the middle. So there you go, you can see the light lit up there. And you can see it's taking a bit longer to do, isn't it? There you go. So that's gone out now. Just put some weight on that. It may need more heat than that because the floor might be taking the temperature out of it. We'll see.
Solid.
Tell you what. Yeah, it works. Yeah. So again, that's and I think there's other sorts of tapes and things for this as well. So I think it does other industries as well.
I suppose that'd be good if open plan stairs.
Yeah, well, it does say you can do stairs with that. So yeah, you could stick that underneath. There wouldn't be any rolling it round because it sticks, so you'd have to put it underneath, clamp it up. But the only thing I would say is you would struggle to get that between the tread above and the one below, wouldn't you? Unless you put your join right towards the back edge.
Yeah.
And also there's a few things with this. Because it heats the tape up, you're not meant to put any metal fixings, so no staples underneath your heating tape.
Yeah, I've heard it can cause...
Is my hand stapler there, is it right? It's another tenner I owe him. Staple arm, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah. So we'll have the example of I'll go on medium. So basically, we're heating up the tape. We've got staples underneath. Now it's going to heat them staples as hot as it heats the
I have heard you...
if not hotter because there's more metal in them. So I would have said them staples are going to burnt into the underlay in the back of the tape. Staples are hot. No, staples are. But I've not seen. Well, there's a staple under it. Let's go again. It's nothing like a bit of fire.
Well, I have been told whatever you do, don't go over any staples or anything like that.
Yeah, and that's what I did want to. I want to see this spontaneous.
Can it cause a fire if you do? Apparently.
I would have said you'd get charring. You'd struggle to get a fire. I don't think.
No, there's a bit of smoking, but
yeah, but that's all tape. The staple hasn't. But stay away from fixings if you can, anyway. So it does like to fry the underlay on that hot setting, but
like I said, we're doing repairs. If you're doing a joint, use you.
In this country, we don't see them on the pad normally. We see them on a seaming board, don't we?
Yeah.
So the instructions with this are a bit different from what we do in this country. If you was going to seam on the pad, I'd choose an underlay that you could seam on, which would be a crumb rubber like this, and ideally a paper back would take temperatures better, but you have to have what you can get nowadays. So that board that we've got there looks like a tub, doesn't it? So that's where that comes into play. You'll be running that underneath your tape and you'll be moving it up. So basically you're insulating yourself from the floor below, which is all very well unless you're doing a seam like this where you can't get it in.
So all in all, I'm impressed with it. I'm looking forward to putting it into practice on some jobs. So.
And if you ask me would I have one, I would have one. Please send me one, Cool Glide. All right.
Cheers, Dan. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.